audio. And Coach King, we're going to go ahead and kick this one off. You got to feel good about your team tonight, especially with the way they performed in the opening moments of this one. Played with pace, played with purpose, a lot of energy, not to mention everything that would come after that. 3 points from Cody Franson and Nicholas Bodine. And then for a goaltender looking for some confidence, I think Colin Delia got a bunch tonight.
Yeah, I was happy for Deals. He really, if he's not kicking like he was today, that could be a different turnout for us. But yeah, the biggest thing for me was we started on time and we competed for 60 minutes. Wasn't always pretty, but we battled. We lost pucks. We turned pucks over, but we battled to get back into the right position or even to get those pucks back. So hats off to the guys for a good response.
When we caught up to you on Wednesday, you mentioned that this team was a fragile team at times, depending on how momentum can swing if you give up a goal early. Well, the Wild do that today. Gabriel Dumont gets that early one, 4 minutes and change in. What was different this time? Instead of kind of sitting back low and thinking, here we go again, they fight back and get one pretty quickly back.
I think it's just the guys took it upon themselves to not panic and not fall apart just because we put in a goal. Let a goal in like that. So hats off to our, the Frannies and the Mitchies and these guys that just telling the guys to settle down. Let's just keep going. Let's play our game and stick to the program.
And speaking of Cody Franson, gets his first goal, gets his second goal, and adds an assist. His D partner, Nicholas Bodine, with 3 assists. You get the transaction of why Kalnick going up. It seems like whoever's paired up with Cody Franson, you're going to rack up a bunch of points, including Cody himself. What did you like about that pairing? Because certainly they were on full display tonight.
Well, Franny's such a good pro. He's been around, obviously. He's got many NHL games in him, and he's played some AHL games too, obviously. But I just think he calms guys down, whether it's Isaac Phillips or Moberg or Kreutz, and then you get a guy like Bodes who's kind of, has had some NHL experience now, and it's his second year. Like he calms everybody down, even calms down me on the bench. He's just a real good pro, and this is why we have vets on our team. It'd be nice if we had another 4 or 5 of them just like him, but it's just the way he goes about it. He helps other players out. It's great.
And one thing, and we talked a little bit about it in the third period, but I think probably one of those moments was during one of the key penalty kills in that third period. I saw Cody Franson grab the dry erase board, making sure everybody understood what their roles were. I mean, that's kind of an intangible that you don't find in a lot of hockey players. And for him to make sure and walk through everybody's responsibilities at a key moment of game, it appeared like that was a pretty big moment right there.
Well, that's the thing, right? As coaches, this is what you want. You want the guys to take control. I mean, I just should be able to just go back there and just make sure the right lines are out at the right time and the right D pairings are going out at the right time. And obviously as coaches, we drop a few things or we talk about things on the bench, try this, try that. But this is the kind of stuff we want from our players, that they want to grab a whiteboard and say, hey, let's make sure we're all on the same page. It's nothing we haven't taught them. They just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And I thought it was great.
Turning it over, Greg Boyson. I see your hand is up. Your line is active.
Thanks, Coach. We talked a little bit about Bodine and Franson and how good they were together tonight, but then you throw in Brandon Peary on that top power play unit. They really got dangerous as that game grew on. Yeah. What did you see out of that top unit?
Well, it's Peary, right? This is what he does. This is what he's always done. He finds that area where that puck goes anywhere within 3 feet of him, he's getting a good shot away. So they just seem to work around pretty good. They find each other. You would think they'd be taking away certain guys, but if they take one away, then the other 2 are open. So it's a great combination there, and hopefully they just keep getting better as the more power plays they have.
And is it safe to say that Bodine's playing the best hockey of his young career right now?
Well, yeah, and he's played some real good hockey up with the Hawks too. I think it's just idle up there right now where everybody's healthy and the taxi squad. You sit around, you don't play much, so let's get him down here for as many games as he needs just to stay fresh. So when they do put him in the lineup, he's ready to go. But from last year to now, he's made some huge strides. Just the maturity level on him has gone through the roof compared to last year, and he's got confidence coming out of his eyeballs there. He's just he's looking real good, and picture him 2-3 years from now, how much better he's going to be.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Joe O'Donnell, I see your hand is up. Your line is active, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time. Playing with the lead, how did you feel you guys handled it tonight? And what was a game where, I was obviously pushing in the third. They had a couple power plays. So I guess just talk about from that standpoint, maybe some growth tonight for your group.
I just thought our PK did so much better job on the kill, right? That was huge for us. Obviously, Deals being a little more like Delia helps us a lot. And then we just battled. Guys were diving everywhere at the end there. I mean, that's a good hockey team. They can put some pucks in the net. We just got in the way, and so did our goalie. So it's a confident builder for us. But again, the thing is, you got to go play them again tomorrow, and they're going to want a little revenge, and we'll see how we do.
What would be most important for your group tomorrow, and as you look to get more consistent this year, what will you look for tomorrow to know you guys are ready to go again?
Well, just compete the way we did. We pretty much competed for 60 minutes tonight. We started on time. The big thing for us, especially against a team like that's a good transition team, we got to manage the puck well. We got to get pucks behind them. If the play's not there, put it behind them, live the fight another shift.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, Joey.
Yep.
Brandon Kane, your line is active.
Derek, do you think that the guys that are on the taxi squad that get brought down to you have, an added gumption to their game and confidence that, hey, I'm going to show the big club that I should be up and playing?
Yeah, obviously up there is sometimes I always say playing at that level's a little easier because it's a little more structured. Like everybody's in their position, where the guys are going to be. Down here, it gets a little haywire where, we're not always in the right position. But I don't think they have that attitude. I think they understand that when they're on the taxi squad and they're just only practicing and all those extra conditioning skates, it's not fun, but obviously they love being up there. But I think they understand. The Hawks are really good at explaining this to guys that when they come down from the taxi squad that they're here to play just to get some games. And so, like I said earlier, if they are called upon to be called up to play an actual game, that they're ready to go. I mean, you could be in the taxi squad for 2 months and not play a game, and then all of a sudden you got to play a game. That's not fair to the kids that are on that taxi squad. So we're happy to have them. We got to take advantage of it while we have them right now. And but they're just great attitudes coming down.
And then this past week, Halupa's taken his game to another level and 3 points in the last 3 games. What have you seen from him?
Well, I think he's getting comfortable now. I think the new surroundings, the language, the players, everything's new to him. And I think he's just starting to feel comfortable where he is at. And I think the big thing too with him is he's competing a little more for those pucks now. I think he was having a little bit of he wasn't too sure on himself in the games and playing too safe and wasn't really skating. I think now he's starting to move his feet a lot more, and he's a little hungrier for those pucks.
Thanks.
Excellent. And Matt Carlson, I know you're joining us again. Thank you for joining us this evening. Your line is active. I know you want to talk to Coach about a lot of prospects. I think, especially on the Bodine front, you got a lot to talk about this evening. Your line is active, sir.
Hey, Derek. It's nice to see you guys get your win.
Yeah.
And hang on and get that one. Yeah, Bodine is, he was at the top of our prospects list last year. And as you say, I mean, from when we saw him play at Rockford last year, about this time until where he is now, he's jumped a light year.
Yeah.
But another guy on my list here, though, that's been kind of on the fringe a little bit, but with the Blackhawks, and he's been up for a cup of coffee or two, is Quenneville. What's it? He's kind of a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for him to maybe make a little more of an impression at the National Hockey League level?
Well, I think he's got to take some pressure off himself. I think he's putting too much pressure on himself. Like he feels like he has to do everything. I always call it a Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump movie was 3 hours long, and how much did he accomplish in those 3 hours? Well, this is what he's trying to do. He's got everything you'd want in a player. He's a big, strong kid. He's got some hockey smarts. He can skate. He's got a great shot. He can move the puck. I think the biggest thing is just the mental part of the game. He just has to, take a little pressure off himself and figure out that role, what he needs to do to make the jump again and stay there.
Sure. And a couple of other guys too. They weren't in your roster tonight, but you've seen them this year, and they've been on the Blackhawks list for a while. A couple of guys like Chris or like Tepley. What's it going to take for Chris has been in the system for a while. What's it going to take for those two guys, and what's their upside?
Well, I think Crispy's he's a skater. He can skate himself out. I think the big thing with him is just his puck plays. His first pass has to get a little better. He's got to put on a little some muscle there, get a little stronger, because he's not the 6'4" defenseman in the league. But it's some guys might take 2 or 3 years before you really mature into a good hockey player. Some guys pick it up quicker, other guys it takes a little longer, especially on the D side. And then the Tepley kid, he's new, fresh, different. It's a whole new different world here. The language and everything. He's a quiet kid. I think he, again, like I said about Chalupa, he just needs to get comfortable in his surroundings, and then we'll get him going. A lot of these guys we get after the COVID, after we decide they haven't done a lot. So a kid like that just needs to get stronger. And I don't want to throw him in. We don't want to throw him to the wolves right away. We want to make sure he's ready. When he goes in the lineup, he's ready and he's healthy and strong,
Sure. And then just one quick question on that. With COVID and the complete mess of a schedule we've got here for everybody. I mean, how much? Guys are not playing the way they normally would be, and the system is not. People aren't coming down the assembly line, if you will, or through the system the way they normally would be.
Yeah.
Big picture. It's very disruptive right now. Mm-hmm. But big picture, do you think it'll be a setback for players in general?
Actually, you know what? I don't think it. I think it's actually I look at it as a bit of a blessing, because we got some kids here that probably wouldn't be with us right now, and we're getting the chance to take a look at them, and see what they need to work on. So looking at it that way, I feel we're almost getting ahead of the curve on these kids, because some of these kids are getting a chance to play where, they'd be back in junior or, what other leagues or European leagues they'd be at. That's where they would be playing right now. They wouldn't even be on that. They'd come to camp, they'd get released, they'd go back play on their junior team. Then we wouldn't see them for another year or two. But now we're getting a chance to see these kids. And, and then when they do finally actually turn pro like they should, then, we've already got to jump on them. I don't know if that makes sense, but